Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm really excited to bring this here to you. I want to first of all start off by thanking Patricia for recommending that I cover this here today. She's one of my premium members and I really do appreciate you reaching out. This is something I recently covered, as a matter of fact. I think it was like a week or two ago when it had just tested its previous all-time high, and now it obviously broke that. I think it was a couple days ago if I remember correctly, and essentially it's in, new highs territory, right? So it's creating new highs every single day. We want to kind of take a look at this to help navigate and see what potential there is here, of course, but also understand, how to exit your position as well, because I like to make sure we take profits while we still can. And I've always been a profitable trader, at least in the last 5 to 10 years. First 5 years, maybe not so much, but I've learned a thing or two about not being greedy, not being a diamond hand holder. So just be careful, be cautious. If you are having an open position in this or anything else, respect the market, move your stop loss up, and take your profits while you can. Right? There's nothing bad about a 1, 2, 3% profit. Way better than a 5 to 10% loss. Trust me on that. All right, enough preaching here. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should do your own research, and the main reason why is you need to learn as much as you can from as many people as possible. Don't just take my word as gospel. I can assure you I have a very good strategy. I'm about an 80% success rate trader, and I share all of my trades with my community members too. Be sure to check that out. Link in the description below. But I want you to be, self-sufficient and to learn to trade for a lifetime. So that's the whole reason I started this channel just 5 months ago, and we're already 12,000 strong. Thank you so much to all my current subscribers, as well as my patrons too, of course. You all make this very much worthwhile, and I thank you greatly. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. All right, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get to the charts. Let's check out Fantom. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look here at Fantom. And just before we do, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, get a quick baseline of the market so we know exactly what's going on, because a lot of coins are on the ERC20 blockchain, and of course, damn near everything is influenced by Bitcoin, right? So we want to take a look at all of those, of course, here today. So let's go ahead and do that. And just before we do, I always like to preface the fact that I use TradingView.com desktop application. This is probably the bee's knees, if you will, for trading charts, and I can recommend you definitely check this out. I have a link in the description below for a free month if you're interested in checking out a paid version. I use the premium version or whatever that is to allow me to have more than 2 indicators present at any given time. So if you'd benefit from that, of course, check that out. If not, that's okay too. But just note that is kind of what we're looking at. And just a quickly note before we jump in here, we are about 5 hours away from this trading cycle closing, and it's looking fairly good. In other words, there's a strong chance today's candlestick will close above 50,000. And that's a big deal, okay? Because it's been tested 4 times and been rejected, and we still haven't quite broken yet. So even though as of right now we're not closing above there, we're looking to be in pretty good shape right now to be at about 50,800, testing roughly 51,000 perhaps soon. Just bear in mind, I did that 2 days ago and closed before, or lower than 50,000, so just something to remember. But on the 4-hour chart here, we're definitely looking very good. We've got a major support level or secondary support at 46,800, tertiary support at 44,000. So all in all, very nice, but Bitcoin has been working itself into little channels. So hopefully the next channel is between 50 and 53,000, somewhere in that range there. And we can kind of see some sideways actions, allow these altcoins to pump even further, because they've been kind of waiting to do that until Bitcoin passes 50,000 being a major resistance level, okay? Just keep that in mind. But all in all, we're looking good. We're well above both moving averages too, the 50 and the 200-day simple moving average. Moving on to Ethereum, effectively a very similar scenario here recently. In other words, the price hasn't moved too much for Ethereum, but it did. It took off quite rapidly here from about 3,250 upwards about 4,000 in just a couple of trading days. Okay, so Ethereum took off. A lot of people moved from Bitcoin, transitioned from Bitcoin to Ethereum. That happens a lot. A lot of market volume comes over from Bitcoin directly to Ethereum, and that's what drives the price up. Just bear in mind, we got a major resistance at 4160 for Ethereum. That's the previous all-time high, closing on the 1-day chart 2 days in a row. Okay. So that's kind of where Ethereum's at. All in all, pretty good shape though. We're well above the 50 and the 200. The 50 will likely be tested here soon. Moving on to Fantom. Now I have some lines drawn out here from previous support and resistance levels from the last time I analyzed this, and it was working itself in between a channel of about 67 cents upwards about 91. Let's look at the 1-day chart first and work our way down. So as we can tell, we got this previous resistance, now support at 90, let's round up and say 92 cents. And all in all, that is now the major support level. So if the price does retrace back down, we'll see it bounce off of that. We likely have new support levels somewhere within here. We'll check that out, of course, on smaller time frames, but we're looking good. Another big reason why this probably likely occurred, you see the one-day chart. Big surprise, we've got a golden cross. So if you're not familiar with that, it's basically just when the 50 intersects with a 200 in upward fashion. It's referred to as a golden cross, essentially just driving the price up further because you got two major support levels pushing the price up. And the reason why that happens is because the 50-day simple moving average pushes the price, faster, or it responds quicker to the price action, of course. It's the same concept as the MACD, right? The moving average convergence divergence takes the 12 and the 26 intersects in an upward fashion. So that's essentially what's happening on. We had is basically a MACD on the price chart here, only with simple moving averages instead. Right? A little bit more strength in this though too, because it's not responding as quickly to the price action. This is a long average of the price. So it's actually more effective, in my personal opinion, on larger time frames. That being said, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Not much else to note. We don't need to worry about the support level down at 58 cents. I don't think we're going to worry about that for a while. If we do break, just say 92 cents and below, then it'll work itself into that channel perhaps. But all in all, looking good. We got a convergence on the MACD back on the 29th. That's roughly a week ago when this all happened right here. All right, so we're up over 70 on the RSI. No big deal there. I think there's a chance that we could see some sideways action or a little bit of retracement. And here's the cool thing about Fantom. It's actually doing, it's fulfilling its own prophecy. In other words, if you see this pattern is forming, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, we should expect a down and possibly another up, right? So if you're considering taking entry, again, we'll take a look at smaller time frames here soon. I'd maybe recommend waiting for the price to retrace a little bit because there's a good chance we're a bit on the overextended side right now. Anyways, that's just kind of something I can see here for the moment. Both moving averages are working as support levels. We didn't have a convergence here. It just bounced off of the price. But we still want to mark that. Let's go ahead and see where that's at. So that was right here at about 1700. All right. So I'd like to see kind of where the Ishimoku cloud lines up here. And if it keeps testing and working as a support, that could continue on moving forward. Because again, keep this in mind, when we are in new all-time high territory, there's no major support resistance levels that we can rely on, right? Nothing has been established in the past. So when we're creating this new future, this new reality, we have to rely on indicators other than just moving averages. And also, obviously, we want to probably take a look at this here as well. So let's take the lowest point here, recent, that up there. Yeah, there's a strong support right here. So we'll use that guy. And there's a potential support as well just above it. We'll go ahead and worry about that later. But for now, I would say that it's safe to say that $1.15 is the next major support. So if you're in profit right now, just say you're in the green, I would recommend maybe consider moving your profit target or your stop loss to $1.15. Yes, you might get stopped out. Heaven forbid it keeps going up, but you're going to take profits, right? So there's no way you're not in the green right now if you've already invested in this, unless you just took the most recent pump. And if so, then maybe consider keeping your stop loss a little bit lower so you can ensure you take profits. But just bear in mind, right now, the way things are, it's looking very good for Fantom. These are nice little bull runs. I mean, I look for staircase patterns for any type of increase, and we are seeing that right now, right? So in order for this to continue, though, in my personal opinion, I feel like we should see some sideways action, maybe a little bit of retracement. It'll probably kind of do one of these again. But we want to see that. That's very healthy. That's a very good thing. So don't be upset if this retraces on you. Because, again, we got some major support levels. We got a pretty strong support at about 92 cents. And the secondary support here, or more so primary support, 115. Okay, so all in all, good things here. RSI is just barely over 72, so it's now able to calm down. And you can see here as well, I don't know if you can see this, how this RSI is working as a support level. Ever since Bitcoin surpassed 30,000, that's essentially what's been happening with a lot of altcoins. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's essentially what's happening there. Looking at the 1 hour chart, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Ishimoku cloud. And this is kind of what I was trying to point out earlier. So in other words, this is where the MACD conversion, the 4 hour chart, kind of gave us, well, it wasn't a convergence technically because it didn't come back all the way down, but it did bounce essentially. So that's where it bounced. In other words, the Ishimoku cloud is kind of working as a support level here too. So within a couple of hours of that signal, we got a bounce off the cloud. So that's a very good sign. Oftentimes the cloud, and if you're new to the channel, the price being above the cloud is considered a buy signal, price below is a sell signal. It's very, very helpful to understand that. And with this price staying above the cloud, we're in good shape to see maybe some further continuation. But I do feel like we're a bit on the overextended side here, and that we will likely be able to see some retracement or sideways action soon. I would be very surprised if it just pumped up again hard right now. But again, depends if Bitcoin breaks 50,000, which is on target to do, then coins like this are going to continue to kind of take off. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at TD Sequential and see where we're at there. Yeah, pretty much what I expected there. So if you see these numbers here. If you're new to the channel or just in general, I'll just quickly explain this. What TD Sequential does, it takes a sequence of numbers. Basically, it takes the current candlestick and looks at the fourth previous and counts up from there, right? So this one, this number 5 was higher than number 1, so it keeps counting. Therefore, when we get to a 9, it basically tells us there's been market exhaustion, and there's exhaustion in the sense of the fact that the bulls are, they're played out, right? They've gone on this nice little run here, and they need to kind of calm down and let the bears take control. Because as you know, there's no straight lines in cryptocurrency or trading. It always goes up, down. There's always waves. So it's that push and pull between bulls and bears. And if you see this here, of course, we got a 9, and then it resets. Now it's going sideways. So that's a very good sign. We want to see this go sideways. There may retrace and bounce, but we wanted to see one of two things. Either or would be fine. Me personally, I like to wait for the price to try to come back down a little bit lower and take entry, because I do feel it's a little overextended, but it's actually calming down right now and not that terrible. So you could probably take entry right now as a swing trader and probably be pretty safe. Just make sure you have a nice stop loss set just below this support level here, or this major support here of 92 cents. Another thing to note as well, this kind of furthers my example. If you see this 1 to a 9 down here for the bears, see how this retracement came down? It counted down to a 9, and then it reset, and it went sideways for a little while. Okay, so consolidation periods, you'll see 1, 2, 3s, 1, 2, 3, 4s, but eventually once you start seeing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, pay attention and see, because there's a strong likelihood it'll retrace or kind of come back down. Sometimes it doesn't happen when there's a short squeeze, it squeezes the price out, and then you get this second run where people like you and I, the consumers, so to speak, the non-whales, we jump in and kind of boost the price up even further with our volume. It's like the second wave. But that's just kind of something that I've noticed and seen over the years. But just something to look at here, of course. Pay attention to that. TD Sequential is very helpful, but it's the most beneficial in the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart. Keep that in mind. Very important to not just arbitrarily use it in any time frame. I've heard people love using it on the 1 day or the 1 week chart as well. That does help and help in the big picture. It can. Obviously, like with Bitcoin, for example, it went on like a good 9 or 10 day tear, and then it had to retrace. That's where it's beneficial. But use your own discretion there, but I prefer it on the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart, just based on being more of a day trader / swing trader. I don't hodl too much, but it's okay if you do. That being said, let's look at the 15 here, just really quick, and we'll wrap things up. I want to quickly identify the fact that we are above EMA and VWAP right now, so it's a very good sign. In other words, we probably have a variance of under 10%. Yep, we're at about 5% right now. But as you can see here, if you take a look at this retracement where the price started coming back down, the difference between VWAP and the price action where it was about 12%, maybe just say 11%. That difference, that standard deviation between the volume weighted average price and the current price, if it's over 10%, I've noticed it almost always comes back down. Because you don't see this here, I have it disabled, but there are standard deviation lines for the VWAP, and what it does, it basically tells you when the price is overextended in that time frame. Just keep in mind, volume weighted average price takes the volume last 24 hours and expresses it as a price, so it works as a support level. And that's what this is here. So as you can see, look how it worked as a support. The price came down, rejected, so it broke EMA, came down, and then held on the VWAP line. And then it continued on its merry way. Same thing here, EMA, we're good there, didn't even need to bounce. We're going sideways now. So on all good things here I see right now. There's nothing that shows that we're extremely overextended, but I do feel like we're going to have to see a little more sideways action to get another pump up further. So if you are, again, you're in a position right now, I always recommend taking some profit, moving your stop loss up. Maybe consider taking 20 or 30% profit right now while the price is where it's at. If it comes back down to $1.15, add that position back in. Heaven forbid you miss out and the price keeps going up. You still have a leg in the game, a hand in the game, whatever it's called, whatever reference is there, and you're essentially still in the game, right? That's why trimming your position is very helpful, I feel. Obviously, you can do yourself a disservice and say it goes way up and you took some money, some profits, you miss out on the extra profit. Yes, that happens sometimes, sure. But you took your money, you secured your profits, and you're not leaving money on the table. Because this is where we don't know where this could go. There's no guarantees it's going to keep going up. It just looks like it's very bullish right now and is probably likely going to continue doing so. But if it doesn't, you need to take your profit while you still can. And most likely, if you've been interested in Fantom for a while, you've got to be in the green by now. I mean, there's no way. This is just keeps going up and up. So, all good things here for Fantom. I would say that my prediction is that the price will probably continue to increase, but it will eventually plateau, right? And if it does, I want you to be in a position where you take your profits and move your stop loss up. Okay, so don't be one of those greedy folks, the diamond hand holders that will never sell. Sure, in 10, 20, 30 years, this could be worth millions. That's true. But between now and then, if you don't take your profits, you'll never truly be a profitable trader. There's a reason why I have an 80% success rate is because I take money while I can. I'm okay with a 1 to 5% trade. That's perfectly fine for me. Some people have to insist on double digits all the time in crypto because it's possible. Yes, it is way more volatile than a traditional stock market. But in my 15 years of trading, I can tell you, it's not advantageous at all to leave money on the table and actually have to pay the piper. Basically, sell your position at a loss because you're too greedy to take your profits. So don't be afraid to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to learn to train yourself to do that because a lot of unfortunate other YouTubers or whomever you might be listening to are all about these extreme profits, which are very, very likely, but it can really wreck you too if you're not careful. So again, if you like what you see here today, please feel free to reference my Patron account. I utilize everything you just saw here today for an overall 80% success rate in my own trading that I share with my community members. So I share these trades with everyone. In fact, the reason why I'm covering this is because one of my patrons asked me to cover it. So thank you, Patricia. I really do appreciate you reaching out and letting me know. So moving forward, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. Just again, take your profits, move your stop loss up to at least break even for that previous major support of about 92 cents, if not 115. Okay, protect your money, take your money while you still can. All right, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. We'll see you the next one. Take care.